Yo, yo, what's going on, my fellow wrestling fans? Welcome to a brand new week, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions, where we talk about the different controversies, different personalities, and storylines that center around this world we know and love as professional wrestling. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka the Professor in the flesh as always, and my co-host needs no introduction, but fuck it, he will give y'all one anyway.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is tag team partner Jonathan Randall at your guys' service, Mr. Life of the Party, the adventurer himself, and welcome to our special recap episode of the Money in the Bank, which took place this past Saturday in Toronto, Canada. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Kurt, I know you enjoyed this event.
I did enjoy that event. Unfortunately, I had some personal tragedies over these last few weeks, and I had to go to two funerals Monday and Tuesday. So I didn't get as much time to really go back and watch it multiple times and follow certain other things. But I did get to see Money in the Bank on Saturday night before I left for my trip. And yes, it was a good ass show. And Triple H continues to prove that this mentality of less is more on the PLEs is a winning mentality. Another home run.
I agree with you, man. The whole, being back in Canada, like I said in last week's episode, is always a treat because Canadian fans are always rabid wrestling fans. And yes, the event was a success because it was the highest grossing WWE arena event in Canada in the history of the
Oh,
company.
shit.
Yeah. So very
That is a good look, my
successful,
friend.
very good look. It was a very successful night, and I love the event. I loved it. It was very good, and like you said, you alluded to earlier. This year has been so amazing, especially with the storylines and with the premium live events they've been doing. It's just they've been on a hot streak right now. So I want to go ahead and get into our recap for this event. So the first match of the night, we started off with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which was between Drew McIntyre, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Jay Uso, and L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Great match. Went 60 minutes.
Yeah, it was fun. There were a lot of crazy spots, including with a Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, especially. There was this one spot where
Yeah.
Andrade did this reverse sunset flip from the ropes onto the ladders. What the fuck? That I never seen a move before
Mm,
like that in my life. But Carmelo Hayes
right.
definitely looked like he was going through a hard time after that. Yeah, he was not probably feeling good at all after that spot, and he's probably still not feeling good right now.
Who could blame him? Oh, man.
Yeah, that spot was crazy among a few others, but the match goes on. It looks like Jey Uso, my pick, was about to win. It's looking like he's about to grab the briefcase, but Drew McIntyre shows up from out of nowhere, takes a ladder, throws it into Jey Uso's face. Then Claymore kicks him out of the ring, and Drew McIntyre climbs the ladder, grabs the briefcase, and Drew McIntyre is Mr. Money in the Bank. Shorty, what you think?
That's a good one. Did not see this one coming, man. Man, we were both surprised about that because we both picked Jey Uso to win that match. But that was a crazy sequence in that ending, though. But yeah, Drew McIntyre winning that Money in the Bank ladder match was crazy. Wasn't expecting that.
I kind of was. I kind of somewhat thought it might happen because I talked about it on the show last week of what scenario could play out, which it did. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But yes, Drew McIntyre is Mr. Money in the Bank. And yeah, Jey Uso would have been nice if he had won, but he's still popular enough where he doesn't really need it per se. But yeah, it's kind of weird that he didn't win considering the fact that he was on the cover of the damn
Yeah.
PLE.
You know what? Maybe, moving forward, I think I'm still high on him. He needs to win the Intercontinental Championship later down the road. I think he needs to do that first before. I mean, I get it. I mean, he's been in World Championship match before. That was good for him. But I think before we put that strap on him, I think he needs to get a singles individual title first before he makes that jump into the bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Maybe he will. And
Yeah.
speaking of the Intercontinental title, we had our next match. As for the title, we had Sami Zayn defending against motherfucking Braun Breaker.
Whoa. Okay. This match actually, I think I said last week that this match will be a wild card. I did. I said it will be one of those matches where, like, oh, this will be a hidden gem, one of those sneaky ones on that card. Will be like, oh, this is really good match, and it was. And there's a lot of stops and a lot of good spots in this match, and close calls, and I like the match, but damn it. Damn it, when you thought Braun Breaker had that match won, Sami Zayn counters, and then he hits him with a Luva kick, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3, and he retains his title. But damn it, I wanted Braun Breaker to win that match.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised at the way Sami Zayn won. Like, he kind of won it cleanly and like decisively.
Yeah,
But I feel like Braun Breaker didn't lose anything by the way he lost. He
true.
still put on a great performance. The match is still one of the better parts of the whole show. So yeah, he lost nothing. He's good.
True, and I especially saw that the next night, which we'll get. I mean, not the next night, but the following Monday, which we'll get into later, though. But yeah, he didn't really lose much, and I said to myself, he's going to get his rematch. He better get his rematch, and if he does, it better be a different outcome than what we saw this past Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said that you thought that the match may end in a DQ, and I think that's why you're surprised that Sami Zayn won cleanly like that.
Yeah, I figured that, the match would like end in a DQ or something, or Sami Zayn would like win like on a fluke, like with a roll up or something. But no, he beat him
Mm,
decisively. So that part kind of
that-
surprised me. And people were flipping
yeah.
out online. People were pissed off online, talking about how Triple H dropped the ball, Triple H messed up, Braun Breaker's finished, he should have won. This is bullshit. I'm like, yo, relax, relax. It's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. And hell, Sami Zayn's having a great title reign so far. I'll be honest. This has been a very solid title reign. For Gunther's title reign to be as long as it was and to be successful as it was, so far, I think Sami Zayn's been continuing to carry on that lineage.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit worried that when Sami Zayn won the title, I thought that that heritage, that specialness about the Intercontinental title was gonna like fade off because Gunther did a very good job with it, though. But no, you're right. Sami Zayn has been holding up on his own, holding on to that title.
Yeah, he's been doing work with it, and this was another great example of why. Another great match from him, and yes, he did retain. And we'll talk about what happened with them on Raw in a few minutes. But let's move on to our next match for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had Damian Priest defending his title against Seth freaking Rollins, and another
Yes,
one of his crazy ass little outfits.
no, I like his outfit, what he was wearing.
Nah, I'm not hating on it. I just still can't get over the outfits he wore on both nights of WrestleMania. Yo, that shit was special.
Oh my god, I can't. I'm gonna have to once the year is over. I'm gonna like I haven't done this in a long time though, but I'm gonna have to like have like a rewind where I look back and watch all the events from the year because this year has been very great. But anyway, yeah, I was digging Seth Rollins' outfit, but what I was really digging was the match. And one of the crazy things about that match, I've seen. I mean, come on, we've both seen a lot of championship matches, right? But man, I've never seen where both wrestlers where majority of the time they were just concerned about that other person
Drew
cashing in.
McIntyre.
Yeah, or no, no, I'm talking about like in general in a wrestling match because both Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, every time they'll get the offensive, move on their opponent, they'll look back towards the stage and look out for Drew McIntyre. During the middle of the match, even Seth Rollins was calling out Drew. You could hear him yelling out, come on, Drew, I'm waiting." And I'm like, I was paranoid, man. Like they were just like, they were focusing on the match, but they were like too focused on Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it made sense considering the history between Drew McIntyre and both of those guys. And I knew when Drew won earlier in the night, he was going to play some kind of factor into the match. And there
Yeah.
was one point where Seth Rollins hit the Falcon Arrow onto Damian Priest, but it looked like he actually did pin him, but the referee didn't count three for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
saw that. That I don't know, was that like accidental or botch? Was that meant to? Because I saw that. I was like, whoa.
yeah, it was an accident. Apparently either Damian Priest had a stinger and like he didn't kick out the way he was supposed to, or Drew McIntyre had missed his cue and he was supposed to come out at that point, but he didn't come out at that point. But whatever, just one mistake. Those things happen. Just one mistake.
Yeah, sometimes, but yeah. But yeah, so after that happened, then out comes Drew McIntyre, which I wasn't surprised because you just said earlier, I mean, after he won the ladder match, we kind of both I mean, everybody knew was like, okay, obviously he's not gonna wait any longer. So he comes in, and then now the match is this is no disqualification, but it is now a triple threat match. And it looked like Drew McIntyre had the match in hand, had the match won. Seth Rollins is knocked out outside of the ring. And as Drew McIntyre is about to win the match, out comes CM Punk to get a licking on Drew McIntyre, which I wasn't surprised. I was expecting it, but I love the whole sequence. He literally takes Drew McIntyre out of the ring, beats him up with the steel chair, even gets the extension cord and chokes him out. Crazy sequence. And as Drew McIntyre is back in the ring, CM Punk wasn't done yet. He looks over at the World Heavyweight Championship and he takes the belt and he hits Drew McIntyre with the title belt, leading up to Damian Priest retaining his World Heavyweight Championship. Wow. And funny, Kurt, you thought that Seth Rollins, you really just like believed and thought Seth Rollins was gonna win this match because, guys, let's not forget the stipulation in this match. If Seth Rollins lost, he was never going to get another world title shot as long as Damian Priest is champion. And if Damian Priest lost, he's out of the Judgment Day. Crazy match. And then you know, of course, Drew McIntyre is knocked out. But one thing we can't forget is about what happened after the match, because CM Punk is over on top of the announce table, but Seth Rollins noticed what's happened and he is pissed.
And he had every right to be. Yeah, he was like bitching and yelling at Punk, and even Corey Graves had to hold him back and keep him from doing something that would have been something he would have to pay for later. Yeah, despite the fact that CM Punk was out to screw Drew McIntyre, he also ended up screwing Seth Rollins in the process. So now Rollins is a part of this whole feud now. And we'll get into the segment the two of them had on Raw in a few minutes.
Well, I kind of disagree with that, because when you look at that whole sequence, right, Seth Rollins was outside of the ring when this whole thing was happening. So if CM Punk never interfered, Drew McIntyre, you got to remember, Drew McIntyre literally was at a hair length of winning that match. So he was going to look like he was going to win if CM Punk never interfered.
Yeah, but the thing is, even Seth Rollins said it in the promo on Raw, that he understands Drew McIntyre's perspective because he has the money in the bank. He can cash it in whenever he wants. Hell, Seth Rollins did that himself when he won the title at WrestleMania 31. He did the same thing. So he got that aspect of it. But CM Punk, especially considering his personal feelings towards CM Punk, he was not having that shit.
Oh, see, that's just being petty just because of his personal vendetta with him. But still,
he has a right to be upset, bro. He cost him a title. He has a right to be upset at the dude.
He was outside the ring. It's not CM Punk's fault.
CM Punk was still the contributing factor to that match's outcome. And that match's outcome fucked over Seth Rollins. Regardless if he meant to do it or not, it still happened that way.
Oh, who gives a who cares? Seth Rollins was outside of the ring, and regardless of because of the fact that he cashed in, because Drew McIntyre took the opportunity, doesn't matter. He was going to lose the match anyway if CM Punk did not interfere. So the only reason why Seth Rollins is so butthurt is because his personal feelings towards CM Punk. Regardless, he was going to lose that match.
Well, we don't know that for sure. It looked like it was going to happen, but we'll never know now because of what happened.
Seth Rollins was outside of the ring, Kurt. Outside of the ring when this whole thing was happening.
And maybe Damian would have kicked out. Maybe Drew would have hit him with another Claymore kick and he would have kicked out.
Drew would have won. He had that match won.
We know he wasn't walking out with that championship.
I mean, I'm kayfabing right now, but funny how you thought Seth was going to win, but you didn't realize this whole outcome was going to happen.
Nah, neither did I, but it makes sense. Like, it's kind of weird that they kind of, in a way, wasted the money in the bank and had the person cash it in on the same night just to not win the title. but it makes sense for the story
And
they're
some
trying to
people are
tell.
pissed off about that. I understand for the story. I loved it. For the story, I loved it. I love what happened. I do because I love this feud and I love what they're doing. But it's kind of funny. A lot of people were pissed off about what happened. I was like, dude, they're really just screwing Drew over again. I'm like, dude, it's part of the story. Like,
And now with the way they played it out, now Rollins is a part of it too.
yeah, and it makes things even like better now, like even greater, more than I expected.
Yes, so Damian Priest retained his title. He is still a part of Judgment Day for now, and he is on a collision course with Mr. Gunther at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I like that picture that JBL shared of both of them earlier today about like how they used to look back in the day, and like saying this is the ultimate example of like a success story of like working hard and transforming yourself into a champion and transforming yourself into a superstar. I can't say enough good things about these two dudes. And yeah, you see what Damian Priest used to look like 10 years ago or so, and you see what Gunther especially used to look like with that blonde hair and that like little bright green outfit. It's like, yo, these dudes definitely transform like I've never seen other people transform before.
Also, plus on top of that, the fact that Gunther like lost a lot of weight and got in shape.
Yeah, but even before, like, his NXT UK days, like, this is like before when he was on the indies and shit. Like, he had blonde hair. He was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
wearing this like bright ass, like, green outfit looking like he's a part of the circus or something. Yeah, definitely
yeah.
a
I remember
different
that.
Gunther.
Yeah,
I almost forget he used to be called Walter.
yeah. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. So, on to our next match. So we have our second Money in the Bank ladder match. This time for the women's, and this was between Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Leah Vaquera,
Lyra
Naomi,
Valkyra, bro.
Lyra Vaquero, sorry, and Zoe Stark.
Yes, and I have to be honest, I think this Money in the Bank was better than the men's one.
Yeah. How could we not forget the spot when Chelsea Green went through the tables outside the ring?
Oh yeah, that was nasty. Yeah, when Tiffany Stratton pushed her off of the ladder to the tables. Damn, son.
My
Yo,
God.
props to her for taking that the way she did.
Oof. How we cannot forget about the spot what Io Sky did.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that spot you're talking about. She did a Michinoku driver onto Zoe Stark from the top of one ladder onto another ladder. Fuck.
Yeah. Crazy spots.
Mm.
Even Michael Cole said himself, he alluded after the match, he's saying that's probably by far like the best women's Money in the Bank ladder match he ever seen.
It probably was. Yeah, it was very good. The only one I could think of that was maybe close to being as good as that one is I would say maybe last year's, but yeah, I have to be honest. It's probably the best Money in the Bank for the women's I've ever seen. And that match was
Yeah.
ultimately won by Tiffany Stratton after pushing Chelsea Green off the ladder as she fell through two tables. She climbed the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and Tiffany Stratton, as I predicted, is Mrs. Money in the Bank for 2024. I kind of expected this to happen from the last few months for the momentum she was
Hmm.
building, and I was right. She is Miss Money in the Bank, and she's on to bigger and better things.
As I predicted, good for her. And you could tell that it was right for her to win that match because, she, was on a good streak going on prior to this event. So I think that was the right decision for her to win. So
Yeah, so Tiffany Stratton is Miss Money in the Bank, and she also had a confrontation backstage afterwards with the host of Money in the Bank, Miss Trish Stratus, Toronto's own.
yes, how can we forget about that? Trish Stratus was the host, hometown. Trish Stratus was the guest for Money to Bank that night.
And she was rocking the hell out of that outfit too, bro. Oof. That woman does not age for shit.
Oh,
And there's even an argument you can make that she looks hotter now than she did 20 years ago.
it's debatable.
Hell, even Lita. Lita still looks good. Also, Mickey James you can throw in there too. Yeah, those women are aging like motherfucking fine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to have Trish Stratus there. And congratulations to Tiffany Stratton. But let's get on to the main event as we had a six-man tag between Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton against the new bloodline of Solo Sikoa, the new tribal chief, quote unquote,
Hmm.
Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I was not surprised about this. I knew that Jacob Fatu was going to be one of the tag team partners in this match, and you had to do it. You just made your debut. You need to get yourself out there. So I'm glad that first match, get yourself out there, as I predicted. So yeah, and he showed out in this match. He did very well in this match.
Yeah, he was a killer. And there was this one spot where Randy Orton did the DDT from the second rope to him, and he got right back up.
Ooh, did not see that coming.
Reminiscent of the head shrinkers from back in the day.
Yeah, did not see that coming. I saw that. I was like, oh my god. I was like, yeah,
Ooh.
this dude's for real. This dude's for real.
Yeah, this match was fun. I can't say it was my favorite match on the show, but it was good for what it was. And the match ultimately ended with Jacob Fatu hitting Cody Rhodes with a double arm DDT and then picking him up for Solo Sikoa to finish him off with a Samoan spike. And that would allow Solo Sikoa to pin the WWE champion Cody Rhodes and give the Bloodline the win, which I predicted because they're on a hot streak right now. This new stable just formed. And
Yes.
especially after that segment with Paul Heyman last week where they attacked him, yeah, I knew they weren't losing this match, and they did not.
Not only that, this builds up Solo Sikoa too, because it looks like they're going to be on a collision course for SummerSlam, as you predicted, between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa. So that was pretty much the right decision for him to do.
Yeah, it's more than likely happening. And this is like very funny. I remember this situation kind of played out similarly in 1996, where at the pay-per-view before SummerSlam, they had a 6-man tag as the main event. And in that main event, Vader pinned the champion Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels
I remember
in the
that.
match. And that show was also in Canada. And then he went on to challenge Shawn Michaels for the title at SummerSlam. And that SummerSlam was also in Cleveland, where this SummerSlam is going to be this year.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
Crazy how that's playing out.
yeah, crazy. And you know what? So since 2022, since Cody Rhodes came back to the WWE, right? Only 4 wrestlers has pinned him since he's been back. That's Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, The Rock, and now Solo Sikoa.
That's very elite company, son.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the explanation that Solo gave the night before on SmackDown about what he did to Heyman and how like he took over the bloodline from Roman because of the fact that Roman lost at WrestleMania and how he let the whole bloodline down and he proved that he wasn't strong enough to handle it. So now it's his job to take over. Yeah, they did it like in this dark room and he was like
Yeah.
sitting at a table and everybody else was behind him. Yeah, it was a good little way to explain everything. So it looks like it's heading in that direction for SummerSlam between him and Cody. And that's where I think we will more than likely see the return of Roman. Because people were kind of thinking that it may have happened at Money in the Bank, but Money in the Bank was actually the same day as his father's funeral.
Yeah, I saw photos and pictures and everything. No, I saw photos and videos of for the funeral and everything. Yeah, I kind of thought that Roman would return at Money in the Bank as well. I even posted like a questionnaire on her Twitter page, but it was both 50-50. But yeah, it looks like the best place to do it is at SummerSlam. So
Yeah, it's going to happen. And also, let's send our best wishes to Kevin Owens because he actually said on SmackDown last Friday that his mother has been in the hospital fighting for her life.
yeah, what's been going on? Did they really like get into detail about what's going on, or?
I don't know exactly what the problem is or what she's sick with, but yeah, she's been in the hospital, he said, the whole week, and he was in the hospital with her. And then his mother eventually encouraged him to come back and do the match at Money in the Bank.
Oh man.
Yeah, so best wishes to him. I could definitely kind of relate because I've been going through very similar situations lately.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
best wishes to her and hope she gets back on her feet.
our condolences and Kurt, my condolences to your grandmother. I'm sorry about hear about your loss, bro.
Thank you. Her and my great aunt. Yeah, I had to go to both of those funerals on Monday and Tuesday, respectively.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'll be really honest, I've never dealt with grief like this in my life. Like I've never like cried so uncontrollably and so suddenly, like randomly through random like times throughout the day. Yeah, this shit is new.
Do you I don't know, talk to your job and maybe taking a few days off, maybe taking some time off for yourself, or?
I can't really afford to take time off right now like that. I came into work today. I'm also like starting to get sick too, but I
Mhm.
still came into work today. And yeah, within 30 minutes, the manager was like giving the speech, like, before work starts. And like during that speech, I just started breaking down. Yeah, I couldn't stop.
Man.
Yeah, so he said, yo, it's okay. You can go home. It's okay. Just deal with whatever you have to deal with. And yeah, just go home. Yeah, I've been bad. Like ever since yesterday at the funeral, yeah, I've just been a mess.
And I'm sorry to hear that, man. Just praying for you.
Thank you, man.
My condolences, man, and I'm just praying for you to just get you through this.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, my grandmother lived a full life. She was 99 years old. She was only 3 months shy of her 100th
Oh
birthday,
wow,
but unfortunately, she didn't make it that far.
yeah, but it's still a long life though. But yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
Okay, but let's get into some other news. Also, at Money in the Bank, in the middle of the show, Trish Stratus introduced a special guest. And that special guest that she brought out was actually a person she was a surprise tag team partner for on an episode of Raw several years ago in Toronto. And that person that she brought out was Mr. John Cena.
crazy, surprising. Wasn't expecting that, but yeah, John Cena made an appearance and went to the ring and greet us, the WWE crowd and Toronto, with his presence, and had a heartfelt speech, promo in this one.
Yeah, and that heartfelt promo included him announcing his official retirement.
Well, let's just say we could call it a retirement tour or farewell tour, as we say. Kind of similar to Kobe Bryant in his last season in the NBA. We knew that, okay,
Very
like,
similar. Yeah, very similar.
yeah, this is his last year, but this is kind of like his farewell retirement tour, knowing that this is the end, this is it. And which means that everybody was thinking, oh, he's retiring now. No, ladies and gentlemen, 2025 will be his last. Royal Rumble will be his last. And WrestleMania will be his last match next year.
Well, no. It'll be his last WrestleMania. He's gonna wrestle pretty much all of next year of 2025. It's gonna be a whole
Oh,
retirement
okay.
tour, and it's gonna go from January to December.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay, well, I didn't know that. I thought it was the. It just made it seem as if WrestleMania will be the last one, and then some people, pretty much like the non wrestling fans thought that, oh, like this is it, like he's like done. Like no, like next year he'll be done. He's just announcing that, look, next year he'll be done. So it's kind of like a retirement tour, kind of like when and again when a basketball player or or any sports athlete announces that, hey, this next season will be my last season. So
Yeah, he said he's gonna be on that first Raw on Netflix, also the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber,
mhm.
and WrestleMania, which will all be his final ones. And yeah, he confirmed it at the press conference afterwards that he's gonna be doing like 30 to 40 dates all of next year.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people he can potentially work with during this whole retirement tour. He could do another match with CM Punk. We saw the two of them talk backstage afterwards. They could have another match
Yeah.
together.
Hmm.
Also, Randy Orton. As much as we used to complain
Hmm.
about how many times they would wrestle each other, having them go against each other one last time would be a nice treat.
Well, I mean, I never complained about it because I love the feud. I loved it. I never complained about how many times they went at it with each other. I loved it.
After a while, it started to get stale. I will be honest. Like after a while, it started to be less interesting.
Oh, kind of like 2014 time. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
like I
But
think I think like their three best matches that I could think of off the top of my head was that SummerSlam '07 match, despite how horrible that show was.
yeah,
Also, their I Quit match at Breaking Point, I think it was called 2009.
yeah.
Yeah, that match, and also the Iron Man No Holds Barred match they had at the Bragging Rights show that same year in 2009.
Hmm. I never saw that one.
It's good. It's a good match.
Okay. It's funny. The our pretty much one of our favorite wrestling journalists, I think, Chris Van
Chris Van Vliet.
Bleed. Yeah, he posted on Twitter saying who should induct John Cena in the Hall of Fame, and I said Kurt Angle. That was my first. Some people were saying Orton too, and I don't blame him for it. But like me personally, I think Kurt Angle should have that spot because John Cena's first match was against Kurt Angle, his first introduction.
And also, John Cena inducted him into the Hall of Fame in 2017.
Yeah, and let's not forget they work very well with each other in the ring. They had a great feuds, both when they're both on SmackDown and on Raw.
I like that time when Kurt Angle dressed up as Cena, like in the whole like thugonomics gear. He was like wearing the backwards
Oh,
hat.
the
Yeah,
rap
that
battle.
shit.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. And then let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, prior, when we were leading up to WrestleMania 21, who did John Cena had to get through first to get to the championship match? He had to get through Kurt Angle, so that was kind of like a stepping stone for him.
Yeah, it was.
So I feel like Kurt Angle was like the right guy to do it. But as far as John Cena's career and his farewell tour, again, man, this goes back to what I've been saying so many times. You guys could go back into our archives, into our past episodes. I've been saying this so many times. I'll say it again. He's one of those guys where I kind of like me personally. I took for granted a
Me
little bit,
too. Me
and
too.
it's kind of sad that he's actually leaving, man. And it is sad because like we like grew up with this guy. You know what I mean? Like this dude was wrestling since I was in elementary school. You know what I mean? And you could love him or you could hate him, but you have to respect his work ethic and his passion for the business. That like I had to say to myself, I had to ask myself, I had to like, what's my top 5 favorite John Cena matches and moments and all that, and um, don't take this for granted. Like, why do you think I was so happy last year? Remember when Hollywood was going on the writer's strike, and then John Cena was there for good couple of months or so. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember
You
that.
remember that, Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying you and everybody do not take this for granted. Like, live in this moment, man, because he's not going to be here forever. And I was enjoying every moment that he was in because it felt like when he was gone, I was like, damn, I kind of like, dude, I miss John Cena. And then whenever he comes back, I was happy to see him. You know what I mean? So this is how, me personally, this is how NBA fans are going to feel like once LeBron announces his retirement. Even the fans who don't like him are going to be like, you know what? They're going to look back and like, damn, you know what? I kind of took this dude for granted. You know?
Yeah, he's definitely somebody I didn't appreciate enough. I kind of compared John Cena to being a little kid and being forced to eat your vegetables. You're not crazy about it. Sometimes you feel like it's being forced down your throat, but it's good for you. And you realize when you get older that it's something that you needed.
It benefits you. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And don't get me wrong, like I like my love hate for him, was silly because I was, before all that, I was a huge John Cena fan. I love John Cena though, but like I was very like stubbornly mad about him beating Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23, and that's where I was kind of like, yo, this is whole John Cena thing starting to wear off on me and all that. And then about a couple years later, it gets worse. The women and children are mostly his fan base, and that's where I was like, oh, this is starting to wear off on me and all that, But still, you look back at it and you're just like, we took it for granted.
Yeah, definitely. I started to appreciate him more, I would say, like more like in the mid 2010s, like 2014, 2015. That's when I started to warm up to him a lot more, especially
Yeah,
during that
yeah,
US
that's one.
title
Yeah,
open challenge run. That's like when I really started to become more of a fan of his.
yeah, same here, same.
But I just remember at WrestleMania in Miami when he went against The Rock, I booed the shit out of him. I lost my voice booing the shit out of him.
Uh,
You're a puppet, Cena. You work for the corporate machine, Cena. Yeah, but it was fun to boo him though. Like even though you didn't like the way the company was using him, and in some cases forcing him down your throat, at the same time you understand like why he was in that top spot for as long as he was.
yeah. I mean, why do you think people hated Roman Reigns at first, man?
And also another thing with John Cena is the fact that out of like all of the top guys in WWE throughout the years, whether it was Hogan, Savage, Warrior, Bret, Shawn, Austin, Rock, whoever it was, it feels like John Cena was like the least difficult.
Yeah, like as far as like wanting to do business, or I don't want this person to go over me because because of ego and whatnot. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, granted, there were certain matches he probably should have lost that he didn't lose, but overall, he
Mhm.
definitely made a lot of people in the process. He made CM Punk, he made Daniel Bryan, also AJ
Mhm.
Styles, Kevin Owens. Yeah, a lot of people elevated because of John Cena. Also, Edge. How can you forget
Yeah.
Edge?
Oh my God, that's another question. Like
Damn, it
who?
sucks,
Like
man.
everybody.
Edge is in AEW now, so they can't have another match together. It would have been nice if they could have, but now
I
that
know.
Edge is in AEW, they can't.
Damn it! Damn it! And that's another question where I ask myself, man, what is my favorite John Cena feud? First person I think about, Edge is my favorite one. That crap was intense. Early in his career when he was champion, dude, that was like the most like personal intense feud that he was involved in, like on a personal level, dude. I've like in one of those matches of, if I had to give you like a top five, you know, all-time favorite John Cena matches, both of his matches, his TLC match and his last man standing match against Edge, are on my list.
Fair enough. But one person we could see him work with one last time, I would really love to see it, is AJ Styles, who's also on the
Mm.
verge of retiring too.
Yeah, and you know what? I was very fortunate to. I was very grateful and fortunate to actually see their first match against each other at Money in the Bank back in 2016.
And I was very fortunate to see them wrestle again the following month at Madison Square Garden.
Mm.
One of the few times back then I would actually see John Cena get cheered and actually be in a place where John Cena was being cheered hardcore. Yeah, that
Oh
was
yeah,
different.
yeah. You mentioned that last week. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Don't take this for granted, guys. Live in the moment. That's all I'm going to say. Live in this moment for all of 2025. Live in it. Live in this moment.
Yeah, enjoy while it lasts, because once he's gone for good. He even said
Yeah.
himself, once he retires, he's not wearing the cap anymore, the khaki shorts anymore, the colorful shirts anymore. Yeah, that shit is done.
Right.
Man, it was cool though that he got the weekend off from filming Peacemaker season 2 in order to make this appearance.
I still gotta watch that show.
Yeah, it's a solid show,
I heard.
especially the opening.
I heard the opening's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
John Cena should have been on Soul Train, but that's another story. Yeah, so Cena's really retiring. I heard that like WWE was the ones who offered it to him. He was probably going to retire maybe a little later than next year, but they offered him like the early retirement, like to do this whole send off the way they're doing it. So he decided to do it. So we decided to go through with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, 2025 is going to be very interesting. With
Yes.
Cena's retirement tour, Raw moving to Netflix, also WrestleMania in Vegas. Yeah, 2025 is definitely going to be popping, my dude.
And dude, let's not forget, I mean, when we start off 2025 with the Royal Rumble, it could go down as one of the greatest Royal Rumbles because CM Punk could be involved, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, The Rock, Roman Reigns, and John Cena most likely will be in that Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, so John Cena's basically had like one foot out the door, I would say, since probably 2018. But now it's like officially happening. Like now he's officially going to retire.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard me the first time. You know, going into next year, you know, when we start the Royal Rumble, it could potentially go down as one of the greatest Royal Rumbles of all time because the possibility of the people who will be involved in that Royal Rumble match, Kurt, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Randy Orton, maybe The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock was a very popular meme over the last few days because of that WrestleMania documentary that dropped.
Oh my God, I've been seeing that everywhere. I've been seeing that everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, because The Rock is trying to make it seem in that documentary that like going with Cody after the whole fan backlash was like his idea and all that jazz. So
Hmm.
that's why people are making memes about like all the popular things in wrestling that popped off. They're like showing memes with like The Rock saying that he was the one who suggested it.
Okay.
Yeah, the main consensus coming out of that documentary is that The Rock seems very delusional.
What?
Yeah, like just the way he went about like implementing himself into the WrestleMania main event. It was like a very tone deaf thing to do, especially considering that like he waits until like finally they have a top babyface who's ready to dethrone Roman. Like during that period, like now he decides to come back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we had our feelings about what The Rock did and like how that all went down initially. Although it all worked out in the end, and we got Cody winning the title, and we also got The Rock as a heel for the first time in 20 years. So it all worked out in the end. But initially, like when all that shit went down, yeah, that whole thing was a mess. Especially with them like wanting to do like an injury angle with Cody after he won the Royal Rumble. to like explain why he wouldn't be in the match anymore. But because CM Punk got hurt, they had to scratch that and do it the
Yeah,
way they did.
yeah.
And Brian Gewirtz, like a few months ago, said that Cody was supposed to look a lot happier when he gave the title shot to The Rock, as opposed to looking like he was sad and looking like his heart had been ripped out. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck did you expect the dude to feel? The dude worked his ass off the whole year, and he's that close to WrestleMania, and you're gonna take the spot away from him just to give it to The Rock? You expect him to be
Mm-hmm.
jumping for joy about that?
Oh no. Please.
Yeah, like in the documentary, they talk about the fact that like Triple H told Cody like the day of the Royal Rumble that there's a chance you might not be in the title match with Roman anymore, and he'll go to The Rock instead. And he still decided to have Cody win the Royal Rumble anyway, just to give him something initially. But there was a point where, like, when that all was going down, that they didn't know what they were going to do with Cody,
That's weird.
which is a bad look. Yeah, that's a bad look. But
Yeah.
yeah, but the fan backlash and all that like kind of led to them switching gears, and they eventually made it right, and everything all worked out.
Hey, things happen for a reason.
Yeah, we're probably getting Cody and Rock next year, maybe Cody, Rock, and Roman in a 3-way. So everybody won.
Well, you talking about for next year, right?
Yeah, for next year. Another rumored match I heard for WrestleMania next year will be Rollins against CM Punk, but Rollins will be turning heel before then. It's just a rumor. I don't know how true it is. It
I
could not
want
happen, but
how the way things are going right now, I'm kind of like, dude, I really want them to go at it at Mania because it didn't happen, earlier this year. We got to wait and see because I'm saying that because of what's going on now.
speaking of Rollins and Punk, we had Raw this past Monday night open up with CM Punk. And before he started getting into Drew McIntyre, he gave a shout out to John Cena on his retirement, spoke highly of John Cena. Nice thing to hear. And then he went in on Drew McIntyre, and he played the footage from after Money in the Bank on Saturday at the post show, when Drew McIntyre went to the post show panel and just started flipping out and started like yelling at the camera, and like referees are trying to stop him and referees are trying to restrain him, but then he beat up the referees. And then even Adam Pearce tried to stop him, and then he elbowed Adam Pearce, and then Wade Barrett had to calm him down. Wade Barrett had to hold him back. Yeah, Drew McIntyre was pissed the fuck off, and that resulted in him being suspended by Adam Pearce and given a big fine also. And I like what Drew McIntyre said in a response tweet, calling basically Adam Pearce a bald bitch.
Yeah, on Twitter. I shared that on our Instagram page. Oh my god. This is too much.
And then after Punk played the footage, he talked about the fact that I know the ratings just went down a couple percentages because of the fact that Drew McIntyre was on the show. And then he goes on to say that actions have consequences, and that consequence is CM Punk.
Huh.
And then he goes on to talk about how like he cost him the title at WrestleMania because of him running his mouth so much. And then the match the next night on Raw where he didn't win the number one contendership. And then he talked about like, if I have to fly to your home country of Glasgow to screw you out of the title, then so be it. Yeah, and he also mentioned Saturday Money in the Bank costing the title there also. And then as he's talking about this, Seth Rollins' music hits.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Seth Rollins' music hits. He gets into Punk's face and he says, like I was saying a few minutes ago, that he understands what Drew McIntyre did and he can't get mad at him for that because of the fact that he did the same thing himself. But the fact that Punk had to come in and interfere and get involved in his business, that he could not let go of. Yeah. And then Punk tried to counter-argue and talk about the fact that he figured Rollins would understand because Rollins is a family himself, and Drew mocked Punk and his family, his wife, and also his dog.
Thank you.
And then he talks about, like, if I ruined your pipe dream of becoming the champion for what I did to you and for screwing you out of the title, I apologize. And then 2 seconds later, he says, but considering that it was you, I can't really feel too bad about it.
No. Oh. Oh.
Damn. Then he gets in his face. And then Rollins is like, yeah, big surprise. That's one thing you can't ever do is ever apologize. You've probably never done it in your life. And you always have an excuse and you always have a reason for every little bullshit thing you do. And they call that gaslighting. And he says like you try to claim that you're a hero, you try to claim that you're this leader and all that, but you're missing the one quality that most good leaders and most good people have, and that quality is realizing that the whole world does not revolve around you. Oh yeah, that line cut like a knife.
Mm.
And then he went on to say that I'm not going to touch your fragile little body right now because you're not cleared, but once you get cleared, you won't even get to Drew McIntyre because I'm going to put you back on the injured list again.
Yeah, that.
And then he ended the promo by saying, actions have consequences. And then he dropped the mic and walked away.
Yeah, that right there. That was like the blow right there when he mentioned about his injury. That was crazy. Um, this whole situation has just really just went just spiraled because now yeah, most likely it is going to be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. But now, as you were saying before you went on the air, you're saying that Seth Rollins most likely could be a special guest referee and will definitely shake things up.
Yeah, considering that like Punk screwed him at the show on Saturday, it's basically looking like he's going to be implemented in this feud because of the promo on Monday. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
looking like it's going to be like a SummerSlam '97 type scenario where it's Punk and McIntyre, but Rollins is the guest referee.
Yep.
I don't know if the finish will be as good as the finish to that match was, but who knows?
Look, I'm predicting. All I know is that whatever is, regardless of what happens, it's gonna, um, it's the feud is gonna continue. And I predicted this, but I'm still predicting that it's going to be CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood in October.
Yes, and speaking of which, Bad Blood will be returning this coming October 5th in my current neck of the woods, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. If you're still there, are you gonna go?
I probably won't still be here by then, but if I, by some chance I am, sure I'll go. But that weekend of Bad Blood would have been my grandmother's 100th birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my father was even talking about like throwing a 100th birthday party for her this year and all that, but obviously that's not going to happen anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's going to be that weekend. My
Yeah.
grandmother's birthday was October 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah, but Bad Blood will be taking place October 5th in Atlanta on the 27-year anniversary of the original Bad Blood. So more than likely on that show we'll get a Drew and Punk Hell in a Cell, but we still have SummerSlam to build towards, so we're more than likely getting that match there. And Punk had a segment backstage with Adam Pearce later in the show where he promised he would stay away from Raw next week and get himself cleared, but Drew would be back on Raw to talk to Adam Pearce about possibly getting reinstated so that Punk could get a piece of him and vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is going to win the award for Feud of the Year. The year is not even over yet, but I think this is definitely going to win the award for
Oh,
Feud of the
hell
Year.
yes. Oh my God. There's been so much like good storylines going on this year. But yes, it is so easy to say that CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is hands down the feud of the year. And they haven't even had a match yet. That's the crazy thing about that. They have
Yeah, tell
not
me
had a
about it.
match yet. But what they've been doing, right? But what they've been doing in promos and just like just interference and all that stuff, that's why it's so damn good. And they haven't had a match yet.
Yeah, but they're about to have a match in a few weeks.
Yeah, I know. But one other feud that comes second that could gives CM Punk and Drew McIntyre a run for their money is the situation with Liv Morgan and the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and this got kicked in a motherfucking high gear on Raw Monday as Adam Pearce made a tag team match for the main event of Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega against Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, which Dominic was not happy about, but still could
Good
not get out of
God.
it despite how much he begged
Oh,
to. And then he was talking to Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day's locker room because she was in there again. And then she was talking about how he looked tense and she was trying to loosen him up. And then she like pushed
oh.
him onto the couch, got on top of him and started like stretching his leg. And then after a few seconds, he's like, oh, that actually feels pretty good. And then right as this is happening, the rest of Judgment Day walks in.
Oh man.
And like Damian Priest is like, yo, you should have ended this a long time ago. It's not that hard. And then Carlito looks down at Dominic's thing and says, actually, it kind of is. Oh shit.
Oh.
I mean, I can't blame him, but that's another story. And then Dominic is like saying, yo, I hear you. You're starting to sound like my dad now. And then he's like, honestly, I'm starting to understand your dad more and more every week. And then Dominic leaves and says, I'll take care of it tonight. I'll finish it tonight. But we all know that didn't happen as we had the main event match. And as Ray was taking advantage of Dominic on the top rope, Liv Morgan pushed the steel chair to the referee to distract him. And then Liv Morgan knocked Rey Mysterio off the top rope onto the turnbuckle. And that would allow Dominic to hit his dad, Ray, with a frog splash and pin his father for the very first time. Shit. And then after the match, Dominic and Liv Morgan hug. And then once Dominic realizes what he's doing, he pushes her off of him. And then she jumps into his arms and hugs him. And then they start to fall onto the floor. And then like she's touching his face and everything. And he's starting like to get closer to her. But as he's like about to kiss her, Rhea Ripley's music hits.
Good God. And you should have saw the look on Dominic's face. Like you just got caught red-handed. It's as if his soul left his entire body.
He looked like that dude Miles in the movie Soul Food once Terry announced that he fucked her cousin in front of the whole family.
Right.
Ooh.
Terry, can we talk about this?
only thing Rhea Ripley was missing is a knife chasing him around, which maybe hasn't happened yet.
And she actually did chase Liv Morgan, actually.
Outside Liv Morgan ran away. Liv Morgan ran away before she even got there.
I know, but still. But Rhea Ripley did chase Liv Morgan out of the ring, though. But still, once Liv Morgan was outside of the ring, outside of the barricade, pretty much, then she turned her attentions towards Dominic Mysterio. Oh no.
Yeah, she got into Dominic's face and said, "Look at me." And then like Dominic was trying to hug her and saying, "I miss you," and she wasn't having it. But like right when this was happening, the show went off the air.
Yeah, and then they show clip footage of what happened when Raw went off the air. Rhea Ripley's walking away, and then Dominic is trying to explain to her, like, "Hey, I was trying to end this, and I was trying to, like, I didn't do anything." One of the funniest things that happened later that night, Kurt, I don't know if you saw this, but see, I follow Dominic Mysterio on social media, right? He posts a video of the Bill Clinton interview.
Monica Lewinsky's speech,
saying how he did not have no sexual relations with that woman. When I saw that, I laughed so hard. That was the funniest thing I ever seen. You post a video of Bill Clinton like, I did not have sexual relations with that young intern. Like, I don't know if this is.
Yeah. You didn't have sexual relations with her. You fucked her brains out.
Oh.
Yeah, but fuck yeah, this shit really heated up big time. Now Rhea is back. I kind of had a feeling she was going to be back in time for SummerSlam. I'm not sure if she's cleared to come back and wrestle, but she's definitely back. And I think this could definitely lead to something at SummerSlam. This will definitely be a part of the show. Like if they don't do a match at SummerSlam, they're going to do some kind of segment, kind of like similar to the Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho segment from 08.
No, I don't think that's a segment. That's kind of, I don't know. That wouldn't appeal to me.
But if she can't wrestle yet, I feel like they might do that at SummerSlam. Look, it's not ideal. I'd rather see the match too. But if she's not clear to wrestle yet, that's the only thing they can really do right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we don't know that. We haven't. I haven't heard anything. What's today? What is Wednesday? It's been 2 days. We haven't heard anything about medically is she cleared or not. So
yeah, we'll find out more probably on Monday on Raw because they really left that shit at the end of Raw this week on a cliffhanger. So we'll definitely get more answers coming up on Raw this week. But yo, it's great to see her back. Yo, it's great to have her back.
Yes. Thank God. Oh, my God. Oh.
But hopefully they can do the match at SummerSlam. That'd be great. That'd be one of the biggest matches.
I believe it. Manifest, Kurt. I believe it.
If they can do that match at SummerSlam, the 3 matches I will be looking forward to the most is that, Punk and McIntyre, and probably Damian Priest and Gunther.
You know what? If everything falls into place, Kurt, with everything that we're predicting, right? this could potentially go down as one of the greatest SummerSlams ever.
Yep, it's about to give 91, 89, 97, 2000, and 2002 a run for their money.
Run for the money, yes, yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah, even 2022 was a good one. 2022 you got to throw in there too.
yeah.
We're going to have something involving these three at SummerSlam. Punk and McIntyre with Rollins involved at SummerSlam. Also Gunther and Damian Priest. And I feel like the further unraveling of Judgment Day will continue going into that match. Also, we're going to have Bayley and Nia Jax for the women's title. Also, Cody and Solo
Mm-hmm.
Sikoa. And after what we saw on Raw
Mm-hmm.
Monday between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker, where Braun Breaker laid him out again, we're more
Rematch.
we're getting the rematch
Yes,
probably at SummerSlam.
that's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And this time, Braun Breaker will win that Intercontinental title. Yes, it's only built him stronger.
Yeah,
Oh,
he came out on Raw acting like he was going to congratulate Sami Zayn, like saying like the better man won. But as he was
cool.
about to walk away, he speared the shit out of him.
Oh my God, I love this guy, man. They're doing a damn good job with this guy. They're just making this guy like a lethal threat. I love it. That's why emotionally I was kind of like, little bummed out. He lost that Money in the Bank, but when I saw what happened the following Monday, I was like, oh my God, they know what they're doing. Oh, they're building this up big time.
Yeah, huge. And yeah, he speared him outside of the ring again, that same way he does it, like when he runs around the
Oh,
ring outside.
I know security. That's when security. Right, security was out there, and they still couldn't hold him down.
Yeah, it was madness. Yeah.
Jeez, telling you, Kurt, it's gonna happen. New Intercontinental Champion at SummerSlam, Braun Breaker. That's right.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully get like a classic Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam for the first time in probably a
Mm-hmm.
decade or so.
Yeah,
Not 6 years. The last really good
yeah.
Intercontinental title match at SummerSlam was Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins from 2018.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's funny. I've been putting off watching the Iron Claw since I watched it in theaters because I wasn't in the mood to cry. But over the last day or so, I said I'm already crying, so screw it. I watched it today.
Oh damn.
Yep. And guess what happened?
What? I'm sorry. What happened?
I bawled my fucking eyes out.
Oh yeah.
I thought I cried hard in the movie theater when I watched it, especially at the ending. But yo, it was nothing compared to today.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't cried so hard in so long. Yeah, this shit has been rough.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, just
It's okay. It's all good.
I'd ask.
I'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah. I'd ask you. Do you still want to, go along with the show? Maybe give you, a couple days or whatever until you're ready. But
Yeah, it was that happening. I also got sick. I'm kind of feeling it right now. And I also got home like 4 hours later than I was supposed to because of travel issues. So yeah, I had a rough, light night last night and then early this morning. I tried to go to the gym, but I had no energy for the gym. Like, and when I was getting in the shower, like getting ready to go to work, I like just started crying nonstop. And then like right when I got to work, I held it in for as long as I can. But then when they were like giving the speech before work started, I just broke down.
mm.
Yeah, I've always heard this grief thing that just sneaks up on you out of nowhere, like a
Yeah,
song, a memory, just a thought, whatever it is, it just
yeah,
fuck you up.
yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Mm.
but on to like what we were talking about. Let's get back into SummerSlam. Yeah, so we're more than likely getting Braun and Sami Zayn in a rematch. And we also saw in Raw the further building of this whole Wyatt Six storyline
Mm.
involving Chad Gable too. And Bo Dallas said in the most recent interview that it's time to set everybody loose, referring to the rest of the members.
Mm. One crazy thing that I saw from that night on that episode of Raw, Bo Dallas was in the GM's office.
Yes, he was in the GM's office.
Yeah. Opens the door and you see him, like the camera, zooms in and you see his face. Like, what the hell's going on here? Man.
Yeah, it's madness, bro. This shit is also heating up. And yeah, we're more than likely gonna get like their main debut at SummerSlam in some capacity. Probably Bo Dallas against Chad Gable.
Yeah, because they've been messing with him a lot lately. So I feel like that's like the appropriate thing to have that closure is to do something, do like a program with them at SummerSlam. So
This is some Dexter type shit.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like my disses were. I feel like my disses were like doing God's work. That's another story. But yeah, SummerSlam is looking like a good card. It's not really full official yet. We still got 3.5 more weeks to go. But like from what it's looking like right now on TV, those are more than likely all the matches we're getting.
Okay. I can't wait for it.
Also, Stephanie Vergor, the woman who wrestled Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door last week, she officially signed with WWE today.
Oh, okay.
Damn, looks like Mercedes did elevator stock. More power to her.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what she does in WWE. And speaking of Mercedes Moné, she had a very great segment last week on Dynamite with the returning Britt Baker.
Ooh.
Yeah, Britt Baker came out and yeah, she gave Tony Schiavone a hug. And she talked about the fact the reason that she's been gone for so long is not just because of injuries, but she also had a mini stroke.
Really?
Yeah, she had a mini stroke. Yeah, so that's the reason why she's been gone for so long. But now she is back. And as she was giving this speech, there were people in the ring like setting up the celebration for Mercedes Moné. And then on the screen, you see like a car arriving to the arena, and it's Mercedes Moné coming out of it. And the people who greet her when she comes to the arena are the elite. So if there was any doubts of whether or not Mercedes Moné is a heel, those doubts are put to bed because she is now a heel. And that crowd in Chicago booed the shit out of her to the point where they were chanting "shut the fuck up" every time she tried to talk. But Britt Baker officially made the challenge to Mercedes Moné for Wembley Stadium at All In, and Mercedes Moné's response to her was to get to the back of the line.
Ooh.
But then Britt Baker basically looked in the ring and said, "What line? I don't see anybody in any damn line." Yeah, so the two of them had their face off. It's looking like we're definitely going to have this feud for the next few months. And yeah, this match at All In is definitely a winner. I fucks with this heavy.
And when is All In?
August 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're more than likely getting this match. It was a great segment, too. Between the both of them, it was a great segment. And Mercedes Moné is way better as a heel. I don't know what she's like really in real life, but as a character on TV, she is somebody that is better to root against as opposed to root for.
Yeah, it happens. I feel like certain wrestlers are better. They're more in their, comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I always saw Randy Orton as a better heel than the babyface.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. Also, Triple H. Triple H you can throw in there, too. And Ric Flair. Ric Flair especially.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be
Without a
honest,
doubt.
in that Iron Claw movie, I watched it earlier today, that Ric Flair impersonation in that movie is even worse the second time around.
Oh, dude,
I wanted to fast forward that part of the movie, to be honest with you. That's how bad it was.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, that shit was trash. I'm sure
Yeah.
the dude who played him is a good actor, but in that role, in that specific scene, yo, no fucking thank you.
Oh, most like he didn't do his research.
I don't know what it was. I would say like my biggest beefs with that movie were that, and also it could have been longer. There were like a lot of things they kind of skipped through that they could have like further like dived into. But yeah, it kind of felt like the last like 35, 40 minutes or so kind of like got rushed through.
I feel you.
Especially with Kerry Von Erich's downfall, like with what happened to him, there was a lot more they could have discussed with like what happened to him in the end.
Mm.
Speaking of people who are better heels than baby faces, that other person is MJF, who officially turned heel at the end of Dynamite last week by attacking Danny Garcia, and he even tombstoned him off the top rope.
Jesus.
The MJF we love to hate is officially back. I guess because of the Adam Cole storyline being dropped for now because Adam Cole is still hurt, it makes sense. Because, yeah, he's a much better heel. Trust me, he's a 10 times better heel than a babyface.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you. I don't, you know, ever had confidence in him as a babyface. So he just, in his comfort zone, he's better as a heel.
Yeah, the babyface thing worked fine when he was teaming with Adam Cole and they were doing the best friends thing and he was doing the kangaroo kick and stuff. But that stuff was like only short term. He's not a dude who needs to be a babyface for years and years.
No, no.
Yeah, and one person who came out to rescue Danny Garcia was Will Ospreay. And MJF ran away as Will Ospreay came out to make the save. So it's looking like we're probably going to get that match at Wembley Stadium too.
Mm.
And two other matches we're going to be getting at All In on August 25th are going to be matches for both the AEW World Heavyweight title and for the women's title, as Swerve Strickland and Tony Storm will be defending the titles respectively against the winners of both the men's and women's Owen Hart tournaments. And the finals of both of those tournaments are going to be tonight on Dynamite. As for the men's, it's going to be Bryan Danielson against the returning Adam Page, who returned last week and who is officially a heel. It kind of bummed me out because he actually eliminated Jeff Jarrett from the tournament. And Jeff Jarrett had given this speech about how much like Owen Hart meant to him and how close they were and all that. It would have been nice if he went far, but realistically, obviously, we knew how it was going to turn out. Yeah, I remember Jeff Jarrett's response when like Owen Hart died, like the night after, like when they were doing the interviews. Yeah, that shit broke me up.
Yeah, that was kind of like heartbreaking to hear that.
Yeah, because I remember like Jeff Jarrett's speech like after Owen Hart died, like when they were doing those interviews on Raw the next day. That would compare that to the way I felt like the day after Eddie died, like when Chris Benoit talked. Fuck man, that shit like really tore me apart. But anyway, that's another story. So I feel like Hangman Adam Page is more than likely going to win, and that'll set up him and Swerve Strickland for All In. And they also have a feud from a few months ago to build off of too, so it makes perfect sense. And for the women, it's going to be Mariah May against Willow Nightingale. And since Mariah May and Toni Storm already have like an association with each other, I think Mariah May is going to win. And this is going to be like a Triple H and Batista type vibe going into that show. Willow Nightingale won the tournament last year, so she doesn't need to win it a second time, so it's all good.
It's a good possible outcome.
Like, but Willow Nightingale, that's the one thing I will say about her compared to Mercedes Moné as a character. Mercedes Moné is very unlikable, and Willow Nightingale is just very likable. Like, you want to root for that woman. You want to see her succeed. And she's great in the ring. She's also great on the mic, great personality. Yeah, she is definitely becoming one of my favorites. And not even just AEW, but pretty much all women's wrestling right now.
Got you.
Yes, sir. So, yes, we are on the road to SummerSlam. We are also on the road to AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. And yeah, the summer is heating up like a motherfucker, especially here in Atlanta. It's been like 100 degrees the last few days.
Oh, it's been worse over here, Kurt.
Oh, yeah, it was 120 degrees on Sunday. I saw that.
Yeah.
Fucking A, son. Also, it was really hot in Florida when I was in Florida for 2 days. Yeah, it was really hot up until the last day when it rained. But yeah, it was hot as fuck down there.
I don't know, because it's humid out there.
Very, very humid. Very, very humid. But yes, the summer is heating up and wrestling is as popping as ever. And just gives us more stuff to talk about on this show. And that's what we're here for you guys.
That's right.
So yes, until next time, for John Randall, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of the Clash of the Champions. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Rest in peace to my grandmother and also my great aunt, Tom Burnett. You two will both be missed. And my condolences to anybody else who's going through a hard time or anybody else who suffered a personal tragedy to that degree.
Oh my God, same here, man. And again, my condolences, dude.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. This was good for me. I was going through a rough patch today, especially, but doing this show definitely did me a lot of good. All right, so until next time, guys, take care. Have a good rest of your week. And remember, as always, don't be an asshole in real life or social media, because that toxic bullshit, just like the presidential debates, is for the birds.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.